And just like that, we are into test week. Welcome back, and welcome back to Brisbane, where as you can probably see, it's the evening now, but it has been an absolute beauty of a day here. After Canberra, which was pretty cold midweek, it's been awesome to be back here and to start building up to the first test between the Wallabies and the British and Irish Lions. This is what it is all about. So welcome into the tour. Coming up on the video, Joseph Sualihi, very briefly, John DL and Captain Maro Atoje, because this is it. It's what we're building up to. So welcome back. Drop a comment down below. In particular, do the call-ups we've seen from the Lions in the last few days devalue the jersey? I'll get into all of that. I asked John DL about it as well. And give me your thoughts ahead of the test series. What are your big questions? What are you thinking about? What are you pondering as we build up to that first game? So, you'd have seen it probably today and yesterday that there's been a big discussion about the players getting called up, and we've had Rory Sutherland, Darcy Graham, Ewan Ashman called up from Scotland. Thomas Clarkson has been called up from Ireland. And it's a little bit geography 6y, not with Clarkson's call up, but in particular the three Scottish lads. And they're basically being called up to help prepare the team, so to train and then possibly to play in the First Nations game on the Tuesday, or that midweek game in Melbourne. And I don't know, I feel torn on this. On the one hand, I think this is the reality of the Lions in the professional era, that these games come so thick and fast, it falls in between the first and second test, and so therefore they need reinforcement so that they can rest those front rows. So they have basically enough guys that your first choice front rows that you want to be involved in the test team aren't going to have to play a part in those matches. So on the one hand, it's kind of just the reality of where the Lions find themselves in the professional landscape. But there's a big part of me that feels like it devalues the jersey. And I feel like the Lions should only be calling players up if they're injured, really. If you're replacing someone, a bit like a World Cup squad where you have your 33-player squad or whatever it is, and then you only call people up if it's an injury replacement. Anyway, I spoke to John DL about this. I asked him that very question in the press conference, and here was his response. John, could I just double check, so there's no fresh injuries from the weekend, so all the guys that have been called up?
Just the Luke's head injuries, the only one, yeah.
Yeah, so none of the guys that have been called up are specifically covering for a player that's been injured? No, okay. And for the Scottish players, how much of that selection did you look at geography and that they can get here potentially a bit quicker?
No, not at all. I think the three players that we mentioned, obviously Darcy Graham, would, in a lot of people's eyes, he was very close to selection. He was a fantastic player, a lad that probably be rightfully a bit disappointed not make it originally, and he's been back played, so he's definitely somebody there and will come. And with Gary Ringrose being out and not available for the next two games as well, so it's that ability just to provide the cover, the numbers that we have on the training ground, but also just to provide anything that might happen through training or after the test at the weekend.
Does it devalue the Lions jersey in any way, and how special it is when it's just players getting called up essentially so that test players might be able to be rested in a tour game?
No, I think naturally, like at this stage, the tour that there will be, that the games are going to be more intense, and as I said, like geographically for getting people here if they do need to play. So I think it's the right time to do it with the right players. It's not been, we're not giving away opportunities lightly. It's the quality players like Darcy and Rory Sutherland, he's a British Lion, Scottish international. So no, these are players that will come in and add value to the group.
What do you think? Does it devalue the Lions, or is it just the reality of where they are in kind of the professional era and needing new players in? I think what it does confirm is that the Lions for future tours need to look at it and they need to adapt the schedule accordingly. They've already got rid of the midweek game in the build-up to the first test, so they've got a full week here to prepare. Should they be getting rid of that midweek game in between first and second test? On the one hand, it's good because if you're not involved in that first test, it gives players an opportunity to put their case forward, to have another game, to have something to build towards, rather than feeling like, well, for the next 3 weeks, I'm probably not going to be involved. But I think we're also seeing the issue here when they're having to call up players. And I feel like, as I said already, I feel like you should be calling up players to cover injuries rather than just calling them up to help train and to take part in that game, which seems to be a bit of an inconvenience. So you let me know. Let's hear from Maro Atoje though. He was up for presser today, the Lions captain. It's the big thing, isn't it? Like I said at the top of the video, we're here, this is what it's all about. It's the first test. I put that to Maro. Are these the games that you really just want to be involved in? Hi Maro, is this what being a rugby player is all about, weeks like this?
Absolutely. Occasions like this, weeks like this is what you as a rugby player, as a British and Irish rugby player, this is what you dream of. This is an amazing opportunity, is an amazing honour for us all to be here, for us all to take part in this occasion, and it's one that we're very much looking forward to.
How does that impact your preparation when the context of the game, the spotlight on it is so much bigger than usual?
The higher and higher up you go, the more and more the basics of the game becomes important. So from myself and the team's point of view, we just need to focus more on the task at hand. There's going to be distractions. Obviously, the magnitude of the game is huge, but from our point of view, we just need to focus on our preparation, our process, and I think we'll be okay.
And is that something that's changed a lot for you or developed in your career? If you look back to 2017, for example, and the first time you played in a Lions test to now, how much has your preparation changed in that time?
I guess you evolve with time. You evolve with your experience. You try things. Some things work. Some things don't work. But the same is true then as it is now. You need to make sure your performance comes off the back of preparation. So you need to make sure your preparation is top notch, because you don't want to leave anything to chance.
Can I ask you about the players that we've seen called up in the last couple of days? And you're obviously there in 2017 with what got called the Geography 6 and it being controversial. As a captain, do you have to make sure that all of those guys are welcomed in?
I have no doubt that they will be welcomed in. The boss, Andy, has called them in because he believes they will help us achieve our goal, help the Lions achieve their goal of winning a test series. So all of the players that have been called in are quality players. They're players that, like everyone else in the team, have a high level of experience and have achieved things in their career. So, we're all in this together. It's not us and them. It doesn't matter if there's a late call up. We've seen in the past how late call ups have had huge impact on the tour in positive ways. So I have no doubt everyone who's called up will play a significant role in helping the team achieve its goal.
And just finally from me, Will Skelton was speaking earlier at the Wallabies media. What was he like to play with, and how big of a challenge is it going to be potentially playing against him?
No, I really enjoyed playing with Will. Will's it's clear for everyone to see, he's a world-class operator. He's a big man, to say the least. Great guy as well. No doubt, he possesses some threats, but as a team, I'm sure we'll be able to take care of that.
The thoughts of Maro there. I asked him about Will Skelton. It was Will Skelton and Joseph Sualihi who were up for interview for the Wallabies today. Didn't get a chance to ask Will Skelton anything. The way the Wallabies do their media is a bit more kind of all-in press conference, TV, journalists, radio, and just shout out a question and try and get an answer rather than actually being able to ask a couple in a row. But I did ask Joseph Sualihi a couple, in particular about how they're able to prepare for this game and try and keep their preparation normal when it's clearly such a massive game. How difficult is that to do in a week like this? I think you were counting the phones on the table beforehand, and I'm sure this feels bigger. It feels like we're at the start of a big event. How difficult is that to do given the context?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just sticking to your process. I've been playing the game of rugby for a long time now. Well, I think a long time, since I was a kid. So I haven't, not as long as Will, but I've been playing the game, and I know by playing you get big games in rugby league as well. So I understand that what I need to do to get to the point to be my best for for Saturday.
And do you think this is going to be right up there? I know you've played State of Origin and lots of big games in your career.
These are the biggest games. I've said it before. It happens every 12 years, but it's so exciting. Just for the young Australians, the kids that play rugby, aspiring to be the next Wallaby. I think it's just so exciting, just for that next generation, and even old Wallabies just watching it too. I feel like we have the support from a lot of Australians coming into this series, but it's very exciting.
I've got to say, for Sualihi, he was a really impressive individual in terms of he's only 21, already obviously done plenty in rugby league, has come over to Union, back to Union really. He played Union growing up, and now he's on the eve of a Lions tour. And he's just a very self-assured, kind of confident guy. I hope he lives up to that in this series, and I hope he has a massive series, because he could be like what Israel Folau was in 2013, for example, that guy that is just the totem for the Wallabies. He could be such a game changer, was a really impressive guy. And let's see how he goes. If he faces Sione Tuipulotu, that'll be pretty interesting after the two of them had words to exchange to one another at Murrayfield back in November. But I think if the Wallabies are to be successful in this series, he is going to be absolutely crucial. So I haven't been able to do a walk and talk as such today. That's why this is the video you're getting. I will try and do one of those over the next couple of days, but I thought I would kind of round up of what's been happening on the tour, who we've been speaking to, and show you a few of those clips. And we're into it. It's a funny one. On the one hand, I keep flip-flopping between thinking the Lions have held so much back, they haven't looked that good, and they're going to go out and absolutely blitz them, and then also feeling like the Wallabies could spring a real surprise here in Test 1. What's the best thing, do you think, for the series? A Lions win or a Wallabies win? I actually think, even though I come from Britain and Ireland and I'd love to see the Lions win a Test series, I think it'd be awesome if the Wallabies were to win this first Test. I think that would set it up beautifully. Let's see what happens. A long way to go between now and Saturday anyway, so loads more updates coming on the channel. Drop a comment down below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel.